And hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to another live check-in in our fasting space. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and we are going to the next level. We're living that limitless life. Now, in our last episode, we explored the power, the synergy between fasting and strength training. How together they reverse insulin resistance from two directions. In this space tonight, I'm 56 hours into my fast, into the week's fast for this week. This means my body is running on ketones. Growth hormone is surging and my insulin is at rock bottom. So I'm in the perfect place to talk about what's going on next. And that's what we're going to be doing. Talking about how do we tie together the benefits that we get from fasting and the benefits that we get from our strength training. As we walk through, as we talk about how do we improve diabetes, what's actually happening? Do you lose muscle? Do you burn fat? Do you do both? This episode is about breaking the myths and revealing the method. We're exploring the science and how fasting preserves muscle and primes your body for fat burning, especially when you pair it with, that's right, strength training. If you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the chat because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music to let you know that I'm excited that you are here. That's right. If you're new to me, also go ahead and put, if you have a comment, if you have a question, go ahead and put those in the comments because I'd love to get to those so that we can answer your questions because I love answering questions. Also, I've got with me my Keto Mojo meter and my Dexcom Clarity Report, which we'll take a look at. Let's see, let's pop this one up. So here's my meter, and of course, boom, let's do one thing differently. Here's my meter. Here's my report that we'll take a look at here in just a minute. Let's see. Gonna make one change. One quick change here. Boom, boom, boom. Oops. There we go. All right. There you go. So let's take a look at that again. All right. There it is. There's my meter. My Keto Mojo. And here is my, well, let's take another look. It looks like we've got something else going on the screen. See, look at that. I love this. I love that. This is what live looks like. All right. Let's go ahead and make the change. But I'm excited because we're going to take a look at my numbers. We're going to take a look and see what's going on, what's been happening with my blood sugars. If you think you know what my ketones are going to be, go ahead and pop those in the chat, pop those in the comments because I am now 56 hours into this week's fast. And so very excited that that we get to share that with you. So go ahead, drop it in the chat. Let me know what you think my ketones are, and those should be. I think last night when we looked at them, they were 0.9 maybe. Okay, they were 0.9, and so I'm expecting that those are more elevated because that's what I'm looking for. We'll also take a look and see what's been happening with some of my other numbers as we move through this fasting. If you've joined us during the fast, you were there with our check-ins. If you started with our fast on Tuesday into Wednesday, 24 hours, yay, kudos to you. If you did our fast yesterday, starting on Wednesday into Thursday, kudos to you as well. And then if you joined us today and are getting into our fast 24 hours into tomorrow, I'm so excited that you are here in this space, that you're getting a chance to hang out with me. So let's go ahead and I think I've finally got these now. Let's go ahead and take a look at blood sugars. I see some community members hopping over. We'll take a look, say hello to them here in just a minute. All right, so here we are. Let's go ahead and do this. And there we are. So that you should right now see my that's my weight, but I'm going to change over so you can actually see what my Libre is saying. And well, let's see, Libre is not saying anything right now. and my Dexcom. Okay, so Dexcom is saying that right now my blood sugar is 78. Let's go ahead and let's grab our monitors, our Keto Mojo and Contour, while we wait for that Libre to come up. And let's do this one. Okay, here we go. All right, and so so let me go ahead and grab from my container one of our strips for ketones. There's my ketone strip, and let's see. And here's one for blood sugar. I have some of these older ones, which I've got to see how big, much bigger that one is. So yeah, so we'll probably have to use those up at some point, but not we won't do that right now. All right, so I got my monitors, I've got my test strips for the Keto Mojo, I've got my Lancets, and let's go ahead and grab a test strip for the Contour. All right, so let's go ahead and get that in. That's the Contour strip. It's going to open up the Keto Mojo, and I'm learning, right, that I got to open this one very carefully. So grab a strip from there. So that one came out much more easily than they were before. And the same thing here. Go ahead and grab this and open it so carefully. So see, that one I ripped much more quickly than probably I should have. But anyway, okay, so let's get that. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab a. Right, so there it is. Let's go ahead and grab a Lancet. There we are, and let's get a blood sugar. So, oh, ow, that one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that it better give me a good drop of blood. Okay, yes. Let's see if that's enough. Okay, so that barely was enough. Let's see if we can. Okay, that's a better drop. Okay, and so 71 is what the Keto Mojo says. We'll wait to see what 74 is what the Contour says. And let's come over here. And so finally my Freestyle Libre is up, so 76, which is what you see right there. And then if I move over to my Dexcom, that's 79. So actually pretty good. They're all kind of in range within 10 points of each other. Let's get this out and let's see what the ketones are. What do you think they're going to be? Right? Okay, there we go. Get that started. If you have a guess, go ahead and drop that. Drop that in the comment. What do you think? What do you think those are going to be right now? Right at 56 hours. Wow, look at that. 0.8. 0.8. I think we were at 0.9 yesterday, right? That's an interesting process. Interesting right there. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at blood sugars. What I didn't do on this was actually trace for you what the blood sugars have been over the last 24 hours. So 76, 94, 102, 101. All right, 80s, 99. And it looks like the highest that we've gotten today is like what was that, 104? And of course, this was right after my toothpaste, right? So 104, 104, 104. Yeah, that was the highest I saw so far. 104, 104, 104, 104. Yeah, so it looks like the highest that we've gotten is 104. So that the ketones, right, that I see, that's a little surprising to me. Right, because I would have expected that to be higher. Of course, you know, we've talked about being keto adapted and how the body is able to process better and all of those. So so we'll kind of come back and take a look at that. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at what my monitor is showing, or my report. And this is the Dexcom Clarity Report, and this is for 14 days, which is what it says right here. 14 days. My average over the last 14 days, 127, with a glucose management indicator of 6.3. So if I were to get an A1C, that's what I would approximate that it would be. I can't say it's an A1C because it's a calculated number. I am in target 98% of the time, with a target being anywhere from 70 to 180. If I look at my 90-day average, and remember we look at A1Cs over 90 days, because our blood cells live anywhere from 90 to 120 days, but over 90 days. And so my average is 117 with a glucose management indicator of 6.1. If I take a look at my actual graphs, my reports over the course of the last several days, you'll see there. And so as we saw on the monitor itself, so my blood sugars have been in the lows, upper 70s, 80s, 90s. We're at 93 there this morning. I think we saw 104. Yeah, 104. That was the highest that we've seen so far for today. And so for most of the day, I've actually been riding either below 100 or right above 104 was the highest, okay? And so we're going back. Once again, 80s, 80s, 80s. This is when we did our check-in yesterday, last evening. And for the rest of yesterday, and so right about here, we were at 24 hours. When we checked in last night, it was 36 hours, so 33 hours. So 24 hours there. And then earlier in the morning, once again, there's that toothpaste effect, which got me from one low 100s, 101, 102, and that spiked up to 124, I think was the highest there. Okay, so that was 24 hours. And then going back to 0 hours, right here, I was 120. And so the blood sugars continue to drop from that point. And then we've kind of looked back over the course of the days prior to that as I was breaking the fast. Okay, so that's where I am. That's where I am. And I want to, let's go ahead and I want to do a check-in, right? Because the check-in for me today is a little different than what I've said about my fasting before. And it is that, well, let me go ahead, let me pull those up. Let's see, where is that? So whenever we check in, right, we check in to see how we're doing physically, mentally, and emotionally. Those are the spaces that I say I want you to always be mindful of and checking in with yourself. And so let's go ahead and then we'll kind of talk about where I am. So physically, I'm feeling good. Physically, I'm feeling okay. I am tired. And I've got to be honest that I've not this week done a tremendous job. I started out good, but I did not do a tremendous job of resting. In fact, I have been spending a lot of time up, and you guys see me here. I'm doing the show, and then after the show, we do after the show with some of our community members, and then I record the video for the next day, our strength, strategy, and mindset, and then I edit that, and so sometimes I'm up early into the wee hours of the night and into the morning. So I've not been doing a great job this week of resting. So I've got to make sure coming from now, making sure that that's the case. Okay. So physically, I'm feeling okay, but I know that I'm tired. I know that I'm feeling fatigued. Mentally. So what happens when you're fatigued? Then you end up, right, having thoughts in your head about fasting, about food that you don't normally have. And so I'm going to see if I can get my son to grab something here for me in just a minute. Hold on a minute. All right, I'll see if I can get him. Was not intending to talk about this, but there it is, right? So I'm going to show you some stuff. So I have been, and I think I shared with you that when I first started fasting, I would hoard food, right? Because I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm getting any more, and I'm getting into the fast, so I want to make sure that I eat up all the stuff I want. And so this week at the office, my team has said to me, hey, Dr. Wood, what's going on this week? You're talking more about food. And not just talking more about food, but I went to the grocery store on the way home, and you guys remember the episode that I did where I came out of the store with all of those. I was gonna say I'm not gonna call the name of the chocolate, but the Cadbury's. Yeah, so we ended up coming out the store with a bunch of Cadbury's, and what I was gonna do is I was gonna have, and he's probably across the other side of the house. he can't hear me right now. Gonna have him bring those so you can see all of what I bought. Okay, I haven't eaten it. I'm still fasting, but I need some help, y'all. I need some help. So mentally and emotionally, that is playing a role. And so my thoughts about food, much more. My anticipation of breaking the fast, much more. Not because, and once again, I'm not feeling hungry, right? What's going on? It's all up here, right? And it's all okay, that calms me. That is putting me in that's going to put me in a space where I feel better. And so all those things that we've talked about. And so the thing that has gotten me through, let's go ahead and let me pop that back up. The thing that has gotten me through is the process of walking through our COPE model. Clarifying, observing, pausing, executing, so that I am aware that, hey, Dwain, you are not hungry. Right? Because I've done this long enough now to know what hunger feels like. I've done this long enough now to know when I'm being pushed, not by hunger, but I'm being pushed. You guys remember the heat model? I'm being pushed by the heat model, the components of the heat model that are the triggers that will push us off of our eating plan. And I am very mindful of that. Okay, so habits, emotions, access, and taste. And those emotions this week, because of the fatigue, because of the space that I've put myself in, they have been intense. Okay? All right, so that's where I am. And like I said, this was a little different than you've heard me say before in terms of what's going on. Because usually, even though I struggle with the sleep and the rest, I'm usually pretty good about getting some in. This week has not been the case. so just so you know. And if I can get him, I'm gonna have him sneak in here in just a minute and drop those. So let me see. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna send him a text. Right. From freezer. All right, so when he shows up, I'm gonna change our screen and go somewhere else. Okay, here we are. Okay, so that's what's been happening with me this week. Let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's say hi to our community members, and then let's get ready to get into our conversation. So let's see who we've got out there, and I see you guys out there. Glad that you are that you've come through. And let's see, we got Pamela White. So Pamela is saying hello. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do that. So Pamela is saying hello. Hey, Pam. How are you? Steve says I'm at 2.7 on my ketones. Boom. There you go. Steve said hello, Pam. Pam says hello, Steve. Gian is in the house. She said hi, doctor. Hi, Pam. Hi, Steve. Pam said hi, Gian, and then hello to Gian from Steve. Awesome. So amazing community that we have, and we'll talk about the benefits of community here in just a minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get into our discussion for tonight as we continue our fasting and as we talk about what are some of the benefits of pairing our fasting with strength training. All right, so as we have been talking about the health action plan, and that is that plan that we have laid out, kind of the blueprint for writing our metabolism. And so we've been kind of walking through that. We did our first tier, which is walking and fasting, and we're into that second tier, which is the strength training. We'll come and talk about other components, but we've been fasting, and we have been now strength training. We've added that to the blueprint. We've added that to the regimen. We've added that to our routine. And so in our last episode, we began the conversation about strength training paired with fasting. And so we want to continue that. And so we're exploring the science of how fasting preserves muscles and how it primes your body for fat burning, especially when it comes to the strength training and the fasting, the combination, right? So that's what this is about. It's a continuation of that discussion, but specifically now, how do we deal with how do we deal with some of the things, some specific components of that, okay? So the first thing we want to talk about is growth hormone. And so we've already learned that we have these GLUT transporters that are upregulated during the process of fasting and the process of strength training. And so now growth hormone and muscle preservation. Why does your body not burn muscle during a fast? And how does strength training, right, make it work for you? So one of the biggest fears that people have about fasting, especially when we talk about extended fast, is that they don't want to lose muscle, right? The answer is, though, the answer is that we don't really lose, not if your hormones and your strategies are aligned. So let's unpack what that looks like and what's really going on. So fasting boosts your growth hormone levels. Right? It's a muscle protector. So growth hormone is a muscle protector. And by the time you've reached where I am at 56 hours, right, into the fast, something powerful is happening under the surface. The body, my body, your body, if you're here, your body is naturally increasing growth hormone, or GH as it's known. This is one of the primary muscle preserving hormones. Growth hormone rises significantly during fasting, and it goes up as much as 2 to 5 times what the baseline is by 24 to 48 hours. So by the time we get to 56 hours, which is where I am, it is supercharged, right? So this spike in growth hormone helps your body in several ways. Number one, it preserves lean tissue. That is muscle. When we talk about lean tissue, that's what we're talking about, muscle. So growth hormone has a direct effect on the body saying, hey, no, we're retaining muscle. In fact, growth hormone, when you're strength training, helps the recovery process work better. So one of the concepts that we talk about and that you will learn as you begin working on the strength training is this idea of tension or time under tension. That is, when there's tension, that's really when the body grows, when the muscles grow, when the muscles get better, when the muscles get bigger. And the longer you're under the tension, the more effect you have on that muscle. So time under tension, and then recovery, right? So the muscles, when you're lifting, your muscles are sore. Your muscles, some of those fibers may be getting separated, right? And then when we recover, that's when the muscle gets bigger. Well, growth hormone helps that recovery process happen faster and in a more profound way. So it actually helps you build the muscle and it helps you recover faster. It also mobilizes fat for fuel. This is when growth hormone comes out. So fat is out there and it's being stored. And as we are fasting, as we are building, as we are strength training, the growth hormone levels go out and it says to the body, hey, that stuff that's out there that you're storing, go ahead and get some so we can use it for fuel. It also improves, as I mentioned, the repair and regeneration. So not just the repair, that recovery period between when you're, like if you work out on Mondays and you take a break on Tuesdays and work out on Wednesday, take a break on Thursday and work out on Friday, those in between days, those are the repair days. And during that process, the body is regenerating and growth hormone plays a direct effect on that regeneration or that repair process that we see. So growth hormone also plays a role in lipolysis. So lipolysis is the breaking down of fat stores to keep the energies flowing without needing food. Oh, yeah. So when we get into the process of fasting, the body's saying, hey, I need food. I need energy. I need energy to function, not food. I need energy to function. And so if I'm not eating, Where does it get it from? It gets it from fat cells. And so growth hormone plays a part in sending signals to the body to go break down the fat and keep that over here now as energy. So instead of burning muscle, your body actually protects the muscle because lean mass is too valuable to waste. Oh, come on. I want you to listen. Often I hear people say that, well, my body is going to burn the muscle. And the body is actually pretty smart. It says to itself, I've got these sources of energy that I can go burn. I've got the carbohydrates, right, which are gone by now. I've got the fat and I've got the protein. Now the protein is the structure of my body. That is the organ itself. So I can go burn that. I can go burn the muscles, the things that are helping me move, or I can go over there and look in the closet and see all the fat that's there, and I could burn that. And so the body says, no, I'm not going to burn the structure. I'm going to go get the reserves. So growth hormone is your body's built-in safeguard during a fast. It makes sure that you don't cannibalize, that you don't go destroying, that you don't go using up, that you don't go breaking down the muscle while you're without accessing the fat. So strength training during fasting enhances this effect. Now here's the magic. When you add strength training to a fast, you amplify the growth hormone effects. And you are directing it towards the muscle because of the activation of the muscle. So when you flex, when you lift, whatever you're doing, whatever your circuit that you're doing, what happens is that effect has the process of saying, hey, let's enhance, let's get more growth hormone, let's amplify it, and let's get better effects. So exercise itself causes acute spikes in growth hormone. Yeah, so growth hormone is going along, and then boom, right? Muscle contraction signals your body to hold on to and repair muscle tissue. And so now the combination of low insulin, and elevated growth hormone creates an ideal environment for preservation. And we want to make sure that we're preserving as much muscle as possible. And this is during the fast, and we're rebuilding during the refeed. We'll talk about that here in a minute, right? So fasting says save muscle. Strength training says put it to work. You're not only keeping your muscles, but you are priming it for adaptation and growth when the nutrients come back. And we already said that those GLUT4 transporters are there, and they are ready and waiting to suck up energy. So this is a great way for us to improve our insulin resistance. So growth hormone, when it comes out, it's like, okay, I'm here. So the fasting that you do, the fasting is a part of what we call the fasting training refeeding cycle. I want you to think about it like this. When you fast, hormones shift. Insulin drops, growth hormone rises, fat gets burned. Glucagon comes out. When we train, the muscles contract, growth hormone spikes up even more. The GLUT4, as we talked about in the last episode, is activated, and the muscle is enlarged. When we refeed, when we start eating again, nutrients flood in. Insulin goes high. Insulin sensitivity is better because we've primed it now, and the muscles act like a sponge, and they just suck up the stuff you eat. Oh man, listen to that. Often people will say, "Hey, when I finish fasting, when I end my fast, I ate," and they'll pick something that they'll tell me, and they say, "I ate that." Now, before I started fasting, I couldn't eat that because my blood sugars went to 300, 400. But I got off the fast and I ate it, and my blood sugars went to 120. Why? Because your muscles now are doing the job of sucking up that sugar because you've primed them during the fast. Those GLUT4 receptors or GLUT4 transporters, have come up to the signal, up to the surface, and they're sitting, they're waiting because during the fasting process, the growth hormone has come out. And the growth hormone says, okay, we're going to set the muscles up for all this stuff. And the GLUT4 is just sitting there. So now you eat something like you didn't eat before. You ate a cookie, so you didn't eat a cookie before. You ate a cookie, and that blood sugar doesn't spike as high. Why? Because the sugar from the cookie got sucked up into the GLUT4, into the muscles. So you're preparing your body during fasting for the refeeding process. So this cycle creates an improved glucose control. It causes improved or muscle sparing during calorie deficits. And we get targeted rebuilding without fat gain. Oh. So when we refeed, when we start eating again, one of the things that the body does is it takes the food that you're now eating and it starts to shuffle it again, right? Because you're now putting stuff in. Some of it goes to the liver, and the excess normally goes to the fat cells. But when we fast and growth hormone comes on, we get this process, this cycle going. The excess that comes no longer gets shuttled to the fat cells, it gets shuttled to the GLUT4 in the muscles. And so we don't get the same kind of weight gain as we would normally get if we just started eating again without not having done strength training during the fast. That's why when done correctly, fasting plus strength training doesn't cause muscle loss, it improves body composition. So now the energy is going to the fat, to the muscles. And that is an amazing process. We also get enhanced. Did I say enhanced? We also get enhanced fat burning and mitochondrial density. So burning fat and mitochondria. Remember, mitochondria, those are those batteries that are in the body. Those are the batteries in the cell that take food, convert it to energy, and it is what lights the process, what's going on in the body. So when we pair fasting with strength training, it supercharges your fat burning engine and rewires your energy system. At 56 hours, right? So glycogen is gone. Your body is doing something incredible. It's not just burning fat, it's becoming better at burning fat. And when you add strength training to the mix, that process goes from a gentle nudge to a powerful metabolic upgrade. So let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's break that down. So fasting unlocks fat as a fuel source. We know that. In the fed state, your body prefers glucose, which is sugar, as the main fuel. But once you're fasted for about 12 to 24 hours, the glycogen stores go away, insulin goes down, the body starts breaking down triglycerides, right, which is the stored form of energy, into free fatty acids and glycerol. The free fatty acids, they get sent to the liver and the muscles to create energy. The liver converts it to ketones, which is the fuel that the brain and other tissues like. So by 56 hours, you're likely in deep lipolysis. The breakdown of body stores is happening, and we'll take a look at blood sugars and take a look at weight as we move through the series. But here's the problem. If your mitochondria, the cellular power plants, are sluggish or underdeveloped, you won't burn the fat efficiently. That's where the strength training steps in now. So strength training builds more better mitochondria. It says, hey, the stuff that's there, give me more of them. Those batteries, the things that are converting food to energy, I want more of them. And the ones that you make for me, I want them to be supercharged. I want them to even work better than they normally would work. So what we're doing is we're training the muscles under tension. It's like time under tension. What you're doing is you're stimulating the mitochondria biogenesis, the creation of new mitochondria. You increase the density and efficiency of the ones that you already have. Your muscles become better at oxidation, which is oxidizing oxidation, but oxidizing fatty acids. That is burning fatty acids and converting them to energy. It gets better at generating ATP. So ATP is the final product from the food that we eat. When we talk about energy, it's the ATP that we're looking for. That cookie that you ate, the hamburger that you ate, the steak that you ate, the salad that you ate, all of that gets converted by the mitochondria, or by the body, into a form that the mitochondria then takes and generates ATP. So the final product that we want is ATP, and that's what gives the body energy. So your muscles become better at generating this. The muscles become better at recovering from fatigue, as I mentioned before, because that growth hormone is spiking up, and that growth hormone is incredible in its ability to speed up the process of recovery. That healing process, the intermittent, the times when we're not strength training, the growth hormone helps us recover faster. This means that every rep that you do, every set that you do, every circuit that you do in the fasted state increases your fat burning capacity, number one, right? Because we're going out and we're grabbing the fat cells. It turns your body to use fuel, or trains your body to use fuel more effectively. It improves your metabolic flexibility. That's your ability to shift between glucose and fat as needed. So what's the synergy? So fasting creates demand, training builds capacity. Let's be clear. So fasting creates a need for energy from fat because the body still has to process. And we can either give the body food as energy, or the body can go and burn the fat. So we're creating a need. We're saying, yeah, let's give a need. When we begin training, the training builds the infrastructure to meet the need. So the fasting says, I'm not putting anything in, so energy levels are going down. Oh, okay, I need to get energy from somewhere. Oh, look at this, I've got some stored energy over here in the form of fat. And then when we start training, the body says, okay, now let's become better, more efficient at burning that fat. Fasting gives your body the signal to burn fat, and strength training gives it the machinery to do it even better. And over time, this combination rewires your metabolism at the cellular level. I mentioned before that, in a lot of the sci-fi movies, they try to manipulate the DNA to make people stronger, faster, better, all that stuff. You want to manipulate your DNA at the cellular level? Here it is. The combination of fasting and strength training. You're no longer just burning calories. You're reprogramming your energy utilization system. So what are some of the practical benefits that you will feel? Well, number one, faster fat loss without muscle loss. Because that's not what we're doing. We're not burning muscle. We're not getting rid of muscle. We are retaining muscle. And we're using fat as the source of energy, so we continue to see the fat go down or the weight go down. We get more steady, sustained energy during the day. So we're no longer saying, oh man, I hit that wall. I'm going through the day and everything is good. And then all of a sudden at 3 o'clock, no, none of that. No sluggishness. We are getting a usable, a cleaner, a more consistent source of energy when the body becomes flexible and when it switches from burning calories to burning fat. Fewer blood sugar crashes and less reliance on constant snacking. Oh, let's put a pin right there. There is no physiologic reason for snacking. Yep. It's not like your body, our body's created to say, okay, every now and then I got to put something in terms of food. So that's what snacking is. You're just dropping some food in. And why do we snack? We snack for habits, emotions, access, and taste. All the same things that are the triggers. And when we are fasting and we're working out, the body becomes efficient at getting energy. So we no longer get the dips in energy because we're using the fat. And if we're not getting those crashes, right? What do we do when we feel a crash? We end up eating. So we no longer have to go through that cycle of fasting or that cycle of crashing and eating and coming back and snacking, right? We don't have to go through that anymore. We get better workout recovery. And we've talked about that. Better performance, even in the fasted state. So you would think that, hey, I'm not putting any food in, so my energy is going to be lower. Well, no, in the fasted state, you are directing energy stores to muscles. That's what we're doing. So if you want to burn fat, if you want to lower insulin and build a more powerful metabolism, don't just eat less or fast longer. You want to train your body to use energy better. And fasting and strength training together aren't just tools, they are transforming protocol. Right? And then one interesting concept people have asked is, well, when should I train when I'm fasting? Right? What's the best time? And so how does it align? How does it align with improving our metabolism? That's the question, right? So not all hours of the fast are created equal. And you've already known this in certain instances, because you know the first 6 hours, the postprandial period, in that process, the body is taking the food that we just ate and it's sorting it. It's breaking it down, it's storing it, it's sending some to the liver, some to the fat cells, we're sending some to even to the muscles, and your blood sugars are high. And in that space, for people who are not metabolically flexible, people who have not been fasting, people who are not used to it, they will have a lot of cravings during that time. Because the sugars are high and it's prompting insulin, and insulin is prompting you to go get something to eat. So fasting is powerful on its own. Strength training is transformative on its own. But when you put them together, timing becomes your multiplier. Yep. Here we go. So let's talk about when, how, and how we combine them. Okay? So let's go through, I'm going to walk through the process of the hours. So 0 to 12 hours, which is called the post-meal recovery period or postprandial period. Right? This is the post-absorptive phase. You're still burning glucose from your last meal. It's a fine time. This is a time to train, especially for strength or performance, because glycogen is still available. There's still all this stuff that's out there. There's all this sugar. There's all this glycogen that's in your liver. And you're still mildly anabolic. And anabolic is the building process. It's a gentle way to get into the fast, especially for beginners. Because what you're doing is you're supercharging the fasting. Because remember, in that those first 6 hours after you finish eating, and then even up to that 12 hours, right? We call that the early fasting phase. Your body is still using the stuff that you just gave it. Maybe the blood sugars have gone down and now the body's tapping into the liver. But when you start working out during that process, what the body then says is, hey, I don't have to send this to storage anymore, because that's what I was going to do with it. But look at this. These muscles right here, the GLUT4 are screaming for sugar. And so instead of sending it to the fat cells, instead of sending it to the liver, let's redirect it now and let's send it over here. Right? So glycogen is still available. You're still metabolic anabolic. It's a gentle on-ramp. But from a fat burning and cellular healing perspective, you're just getting started. We haven't even, this is the first 12 hours. And you've heard me say, right? You've probably heard me say that the first 6 hours really are not necessarily considered fasting, because all the stuff is still there. We're just sorting it. But when we work out during that period of time, all the stuff that the body is now spending energy to sort and send to different places, it doesn't have to go there anymore, because now it goes to the muscles. So how about the 12 to 24 hour? This is the crossover zone. Now things start shifting. Glycogen stores begin to deplete from the liver. Insulin levels are dropping significantly. Fat oxidation is increasing. Growth hormone is on the rise. This is a great window for light to moderate resistance training. What does that do? Well, growth hormone is up, so it's preserving muscle. It enhances the fat adaptation because we're switching from burning the glycogen and we are now burning fat. The GLUT4 transporters are up. Those channels, they're activated. And the mitochondria, those batteries, they're like having a field day because more of them are showing up. And this encourages autophagy, which is that process of cleanup, right? The recycling process of the body. And this happens without excessive stress because the fat burning, the growth hormone, the constant energy, all of that is happening because the body is now taking the energy that it would have sent to storage and it's using that in this space. For most people that's new to fasting, this is the ideal zone to begin. Especially for walks, body weight resistance training, and exercise bands right here. Remember, not all times are considered equal. Now, 24 to 48 hours, right? 24 to 48 hours, the hormonal sweet spot is what this is called. Yeah. So deep metabolic adaptation is happening. By 56 hours, which is when, which is where we are tonight, insulin is at rock bottom. Ketones are elevated. Fat is the dominant fuel. Growth hormone is elevated. All of that is there and is protecting the muscles. This is the prime window to do strength training that promotes fat loss without muscle loss, stimulates GLUT4 activation independent of insulin, and boosts mental clarity, neurochemical activation. This is where we get that BDNF that we talk about, that brain-derived natriuretic factor, which is like miracle grow for the brain, for neurons. At this point, training is like lightning or like lighting a fire in a room full of dry wood. Your body is ready to burn and to use up the stored energy that we have. The ideal moment in this phase is body weight exercising, resistance bands, moderate dumbbell work, controlled tempo, low volume, keep it focused. Don't go for your personal. This is not the time to say, okay, I'm going to lift 500 pounds. You go for stimulus, not for exhaustion. And then beyond 48 hours, right? We got this is like advanced terrain now. When which is where we are. When you're training past 48 hours, this can be a powerful space. Your glycogen is low. Electrolyte balance matters. Strength may be dipping depending on your baseline nutrition and hydration. This window is better for light movement, so walking, stretching, mobility, body weight activation, so lunges, push-ups, squats, mindset, and breath work is a good focus here. And after 48 hours, your body is in deep conservation mode. You want to train gently and wait to refeed and rebuild. All of that is happening. Man. So fasting resets it, but strength training rebuilds it. Put them together, and we're off to the races. So you interested in fasting? If you're interested in fasting, if you're interested in seeing what's going on in your body, if you're interested in reversing diabetes, if you're interested in righting your metabolism, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, obesity, all of that, you want to jumpstart that? Boom, put them together. And those are intricate parts of the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. Follow the plan. It is a blueprint for saying, okay, how do we set ourselves up for the best possibility of success. We will come back and we'll talk more as we move through the different components of the Health Action Plan. This was an amazing interim, right? This is a second component of our strength training as it relates to the fasting. We'll come back in the next episode and we'll talk more about what do we do? How do we prepare for retraining, refeeding? What's the best rebuilding window? What is the best way for us to get nutrients in? This is amazing. We'll see you at the next episode of this strength and fasting idea, because it is supercharged and will set you up for the best possibility of success. Oh man, I love this conversation. This is where the stuff happens. Right? So we can do individual things and they're all great. But when we pair them together, we get such benefit in the space. So I want to make sure that if you've not walked with us, right? So remember, walking, fasting. If you've not fasted with us, if you're not strength training with us, this is a great place to jump on. This is a great opportunity for you to say, okay, I've been thinking about being healthy. I've been thinking about improving my health. I've been thinking about improving my blood sugar and my weight and whatever the metabolic issue is. I've been thinking about it. I'm making a decision now that this is what I want to do. And this process, the Health Action Plan, gives you workable, practical things that you can do that will head you in that direction. Remember, rhythm, alignment, and structure. The rhythm is, okay, I want to be healthy. I want to do what I need to do for my metabolism. That's the rhythm, right? That's the thought. That's the okay, this is what I want. This is my North Star statement. The alignment is, are the things you're doing consistent with what you say you want? Are you walking? Are you fasting? Are you strength training? Are you walking along the Health Action Plan? Rhythm, alignment. And the structure is what we've done. We've created a space for you to walk. We've created a space for you to strength train. We've created a space here for you to fast. Look at that. Rhythm, alignment, and structure. We often don't succeed, not because we don't have vision, not because we don't have motivation, not even because we don't have know-how. We don't succeed because we don't have structure. And here is your blueprint, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. So let's go ahead and let's say hello to, I think I saw someone, another community member pop in. Let's hop over there and let's say hello. And so Jennifer, hey Jennifer said, howdy all. Thank you for coming by. Jennifer says, congrats, Steve. Yeah, so Steve had his ketones were 2.7, I think is what, 2.7. Okay, is what he says right there. And Pamela saying hi to Jennifer. For those of you who are out there, once again, if you've not done so yet, if you've not been with us on our strength, strategy, and mindset, you want to make sure that you join us, because it is a tremendous benefit. Every morning at 6 o'clock, we're out there and we are exercising. We're doing what we need to do in this space, even as I'm fasting. In fact, let me see if I can pull one of those episodes up for you, so you can see what we're doing, because you can do this as well. And this is just outside. I co-opted a part of my co-opted a part of the sunroom, and I've got some weights in there. I've got a workout bench in there. And so we're doing some simple things. So leg raises, so some balancing with leg drives or knee drives. We do some weightlifting. We can do some curls, some curl and presses, squats, goblet squats. Just things that we can do that enhance our ability to move through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. Okay, so you don't have to invent it. It's there for you. We walk through, we learn some exercises, and we're in a routine now, right? We're going through that circuit, and that's what you see me doing. We're going through that circuit as we are lifting. Let's see, what are we doing? Okay, here's some lifting that we were doing. Doing some warm-up, right? Doing some warm-up with our legs. Come join us in the morning if you've not done that yet. And this is all a part of our Triple E Formula for Success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts. We empower with the tools. One of the tools is what you're seeing on the screen, our strength, strategy, and mindset, right? Come join us. And then we encourage with the community that you are a part of, the community that you are helping to build. All that we do is built on the Triple E Formula for Success. And I want you to know that it is an amazing idea that those three things, all that you do, can be what's the word? Not, I was going to say dissolve, but not dissolve, but it can be simplified. Simplified to those three things. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. And we're always so excited to be here with you. We will come back. We will do our check-in tomorrow as we get to our 72-hour fast. Join us in the mornings for Strength, Strategy, and Mindset. That's at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, we will do our review, but with specific emphasis on the strength training and the refeeding portion of it, right? So that's how do we break the fast, and how does strength training impact how we do breaking the fast, getting through the fast, and all those types of things. We'll do that tomorrow, and you get to see what I'm going to use to break the fast. If you have some recommendations, you can drop those in the comments. I do pay attention to those. I already have an idea of what I shouldn't say I have an idea. I already have planned what it's in the refrigerator already. What I'm going to eat for breaking the fast. But if you have something you want me to try, or something else, go ahead and put that in, and we may incorporate it, or we may change what we do. So you'll get to see what I use to break the fast tomorrow. On Saturday, we'll be back with Video from the Vault at 9 p.m. Central. And then on Sunday morning, This Week in Review right here at 6 a.m. Central. And of course, Dwain Woode MD Live on Monday at 7 p.m. Central as we continue walking through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. We're in tier number 2. We've already done tier 1, which is walking and fasting. Now we are doing strength training. And then on Monday, we will walk our way into balanced bites, because how we fuel our body is just as important as our walking, as our fasting, as our strength training. By the way, the strength training and the walking are two components of what we are calling the MOVE campaign. That is metabolic optimization via exercise. So metabolic optimization via exercise. That is, these are two components, but there are some others, but those are the main components right now. And you want to make sure that you are incorporating that into your lifestyle. It's not a, hey, I'm going to do it next week, or hey, I did it once. It is, this is what we do now. These are the types of people that we are. We are walking through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. As always, I love being here with you. Love to see the benefits that you guys are getting as you're walking through the space. Love to see the improvement in your health, in your blood sugars. People are telling me that they're off of all diabetes medications. They are losing weight. They're off of blood pressure medicines. They're feeling better. They're feeling more empowered. And that is a huge part of what we do. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Woode with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level, and create the life you've always wanted. We are living limitless lives, which says that we're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside us to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're presenting our best self, our best health, and our best plans for our lives. Go out and live limitlessly. Don't let anything stop you. We are doing what we need to do for our health. Good night, everybody. We'll see you at the next episode.